Example, we have if you study hard. This is one clause. We call it if clause. You will pass your exams. The second clause, main clause. So both of them, if you study hard, this is dependent. What does it mean? If you study hard. Can we say if you study hard alone has meaning? Of course not. If you study, okay, what's next? If you study what? You will pass your exam. This is independent. So sentences which are independent, we can say that they can stand as a sentence alone. But relative clauses. So here, a relative clause is a type of dependent, means alone it has no meaning. It should be with other clauses to have a meaning. So dependent clause that modifies a noun or pronoun in the main clause of a sentence, and it begins with a relative pronoun. We don't call it WH. No, relative pronouns. Like for example, which, who, whom, whose, that, and where. We can use them. Now we're gonna elaborate and talk about all of them deeply. And whenever you have questions, please ask me. Feel free to ask. So which. We use which or that for animals and things. You cannot use it for humans. Only things, animals, I don't know, plants, whatever which is not a human being. For example, this is the book which I read every day. This is the book. Here, this is my relative clause, my yellow highlight. This word is which, my relative pronoun, which is talking about the book. This is the book. I'm talking about the book, which I read every day. I'm actually introducing or giving some information about the book. I love that old house. Which old house? The old house which has been in our family for generations. So if I want to highlight, I would say which has been in our family for generations. The city, which city? My city, your city, Tokyo, Texas, which one? The city which is famous for its architecture attracts millions of tourists every year. So let's look at this sentence, which is famous for its blah 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 architecture. So if I remove this, guys, please help me. If I remove this kind of clause between the commas, so that would be the city attracts millions of tourists every year. Is it a meaningful sentence? Can I say it has some meanings? Or that's meaningless? Which one? Please let me know. It has meanings. Very good. Yes, it has a meaning. Exactly. So I can definitely say that. Also, give me a second. So they're gonna fix the conflicts of events very soon. So I was saying, so it has a meaning. The city attracts millions of tourists every year, but the city, which city? You can use relative clauses. Basically, the basic purpose of that is that you can use them to give extra information or introduce or explain something. For example, the movie, which one? Which I saw last night. Last night I went to the movies, if you're British, the cinema, and I watched a movie. That movie was really funny. The computer, which I bought last week, has some really cool features, for example. So that's about which. Now, can you guys please write some sentences, some examples you can just make up with which, just which. And I actually invite all of you to participate and interact with the classes, not just my class, all classes, to learn better. So let's go. Sentences with which. What can we say? This is the class which we enjoy every Friday. Thank you very much, Ari. This is the class which we enjoy every Friday. Now we can say every Saturday because we change the schedule, but thank you for your kind comment. Could you repeat? Yeah, sure. You mean the structure? So we use which for things and animals, or anything which is not a human being. For example, and we use it to talk about something. For example, this is the book which I read every day. I want to read it every. So this is the book which I read every day. I'm talking about actually the book every day. So I'm introducing and talking about the book. So for which this class which I attended by accident teaches an interesting lesson. That's good. This class which I attended by accident or accidentally teaches an interesting lesson. Okay, that's good. This is the number which I call Aya. What do you mean? The number which you call it Aya. This dress which I wore yesterday looked beautifully. Looked beautiful? No. It looked beautifully on me because you're using it as an adverb. Other things, the pen which I bought 2 days ago was missing. The pen which I bought 2 days ago was missing. Okay, thank you. Any more examples? Pika is typing. Okay. Thank you. This is the book which I was reading yesterday. This is the book which I was reading yesterday. Okay, thank you. That's nice. So this is for which. When we talk about things or animals here, we use things. And once again, for just joined, generally, relative clause is a dependent clause. What does it mean? It means alone. It has no meaning. You cannot say which I read every day. What does it mean? Which I read every day. Can we use that as a sentence? No. But together, this is the book which I read every day. Now we can say this is a full sentence or full clause with a meaning. Let's go next one for who. We can use who or that, so pay attention. We use that for both situations. That's something informal, at least not formal. We use who or that for humans. Mostly, this is for advanced students. If they are the subject of a relative clause. Let me put my phone as silent. Okay, which actually they are the subject of a relative clause. For example, the woman. Now we're talking about the woman. So let me do like this. The woman who is wearing the red hat is my friend. For example, so this is a relative clause. And I can tell you, for example, here. The man who taught me how to play guitar was my grandfather. Who, for example, taught me how to play guitar? My grandfather. So the man who taught me how to play guitar was my grandfather. The doctor who treated my grandmother was very kind. So it's typically because it's mostly like I don't know which doctor you're talking about. I have no opinion, I have no idea or clue about that doctor. You can use relative clauses to talk more about your subject, your noun. The singer who won the competition last year has a beautiful voice. Before we go, we use our examples. I didn't have idea. It's okay. What was the hotel which we went to yesterday? Which we can also say like this. I will write two sentences. I want you to tell me the difference here. His father look at this as our sentence A, and sentence B. His father, who is tall, is a manager. So can you please tell me the difference in this actually between these two sentences? A and B. His father, with using commas, who is tall is a manager. His father, who's tall, is a manager. What does it mean? Please let me know. We can type it down. A. What is the question? The question is the difference. I want the difference between A and B. Adi. Lordna says, okay. A, B, B, A. No, no, no. You shouldn't choose, guys. You shouldn't choose A or B. I'm asking you the difference. The difference between A and B. Both of them are correct. Both of them are correct. I want you to tell me the difference. This is a bit advanced. It's okay if you don't know. The comma, So the comma actually has changed something. In A, we are telling his father's head is tall. Okay, what about B? What about B, Eddie? Or Audie? I don't know what to call you. Let's say 80. So what about B? And it's okay, just write it down. It's okay if it's, I don't know, incorrect or something. That's totally fine. Several people. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, let me also send it again because of some messages here. So, same. Okay. Flo, Pika, and AD are typing. Okay, after them, I will explain. B describes his father's work. Okay, what about A? What does A describe? The difference between A and B is that A defines one man, while B defines many men. So are you sure about that? You're so close. Can you please explain more, elaborate a bit? Adigan. Can I talk? Can you please type it down because we keep it chat based classes. If you can talk, is much. If you can type down, it's much better. Thank you. In B, it feels like his father is called tall. His father is called tall. Okay. So you mean his name is tall or he's called tall? Okay. What about maybe? Okay. Lordna, his name is tall. His father who is tall. Okay, kinda little. Okay, sounds interesting. So should I tell you or you wanna make more predictions or guesses? B means his father manager too, but he's the tall one. Tall what? He's the tall one. What do you mean tall one? Let's talk about this tall one. I wanted this. What is this tall one? How many are they that he's the tall one? This is the question. Maybe B. No. If it's something else, something else. This is very taller. No. It doesn't emphasize actually on the height. It emphasizes something else. And it means like I don't know. So in first the manager is father. Second the manager is the tall person. But I'm saying his father in both sentences. I'm saying his father. A means somebody's father. No, I'm saying his father is tall and he's a manager. Okay, what about B? Pika. What about B? Somebody's father is what? His name is tall. So let me tell you. Thank you. First of all, thank you for your cooperation. That's perfect. Lovely. So let me send it again so we can have a good view of it. It's nice to see you again. Thank you, Price. Nice to see you too. B, the father's look or appearance is limited. What do you mean limited? How? How is his appearance is limited? What do you mean? So let me tell you, but thank you for your cooperation. A, whenever we use commas, we call it non-restrictive clauses. Whenever we put something, a relative clause in two commas, between two commas, actually we call it non-restrictive clauses. It shows us actually two things. One of them that is not important. It's not really important. Extra information. For example, Beijing, commas, which is the capital of China, comma, is a good city. For example, if I don't say this, I can say Beijing is a good city, and you know that Beijing normally is, that at least is from East, maybe Japan, maybe China. But another meaning is that it talks about one out of some. My brother, who is tall, is a football player. My brother, who is tall, is a football player. What about this sentence, huh? Let me change his father to his brother. Maybe you can understand it better. His brother, comma, who is tall, comma, is a football player. It means, thank you, AD. No, B means, no, A. A means he has more than one father. So here means he has two fathers, three fathers. I'm talking about the tall one. The father which is tall, who is tall. I'm talking about him. It can be sensible. It can be actually we can understand it with brothers. His brother, who is tall, comma, is a manager. So one comma can change your reputation. So be careful with commas. And again, A means he has more than one father, like he has two fathers, three fathers, and actually, I'm talking about the tallest one or the person who is tall. Okay? But B says his father who is tall. I'm just talking about his father. One father. I mean, as you said, he's very tall that I would like to mention it. So that's the difference. Uh, that comma means what, teacher? When you put something, put your relative clause between two commas, we call it non-restrictive clause, and it has two kind of meanings. One of them is extra information. Another one is that it's one out of many. For example, brothers. His brother, comma, who is tall, comma, is a football player. He has three brothers. The one who is tall is a football player. Other brothers, no. For example, they are scientists, for example. The correct one. B means actually A. A means he has more than one father. B means he has only one father, and I would like to talk about his father. For example, here. So be careful with commas. Now, please, I want you to make some sentences with who. Please make some sentences with who. Any kind. It can be funny, like my sentence. It can be anything. Just let's make your own sentences. Not the short ones. Oh, you mean like at least three fathers? Okay. So please make your sentences, make your examples with who. That's great. Several people. That's lovely. Okay. She is the actress who portrays Alexis in. Okay. Tennessee series. Okay. The kid who's playing the garden is my son. The kid who's playing. Okay. The teacher who showed me something. Okay, what? This is an example of a dependent clause. The teacher who showed me something. What? What's next? What did he show you? Okay, what? The teacher what? So this is basically dependent clause. Means it's not actually it cannot stand alone. The dude who's staring at me is my enemy. Okay. Staring at me is my enemy. What about others? AD, my sister. So Mooney says my sister who is young likes to draw or likes drawing or likes to draw. So here again, it means you have more than one sister. That you're talking about the one who is young. Very good. I can stand with people. Actually, I can't stand on people. I can't stand on it. Or I can't stand with. Okay, I can with people who are, this plural, people who are ignorant and arrogant double R, I think, but okay, now is better. The teacher who showed me how to play piano. Okay, how to play piano. What? The teacher what? The teacher who showed me how to play the guitar, how to play the piano, is a good guy, is jealous, is handsome, whatever. You should say something. You should continue it. Yes, I got three sisters. Oh, you've got three sisters. Sisters. That's nice. So in this case, you can use commas to talk about, for example, one of them. Or you can talk about even two of them. My sisters who are young, for example. So let's see. The athlete who has the most number of followers on Instagram is Ronaldo. Okay, and Ronaldo with capital R names. But okay, that was nice. Let's talk about whom. It's getting more hard, actually harder and harder. Whom. So we use whom for humans again. when they are the object. Sounds interesting. When they are the object of a relative clauses. Like what? For example, I say, I teach you, for example, a grammar topic. So I teach you. I am the subject. You are the object. I teach you. So now I'm talking about you. For example, the student whom I teach to is, for example, genius. For example, the person whom I spoke to on the phone was very helpful. Which person? The person whom I spoke to. If it changed this sentence, it says I spoke to the person on the telephone. We can write it like this. So I, subject, spoke to, verb, the person, object. So this is our object. We say whom. The teacher whom I asked for help gave me some great advice. Advice uncountable. Not advices. Great advice. The candidate whom I voted for won the election. For example, never mind. The friend whom I went to the movies with last night is a big fan of action movies. The friend whom I went to the movies with last night is a big fan of action films or action movies. Note 1. We usually use a subject after whom. It actually is actually a tip for your exams. If they say, for example, fill in the blanks or choose, for example, A, B, C, or D, you can say like this. The girl who's playing in the ground is my daughter. Perfect. So we can say like this. Whenever we use whom, we use a subject after it. The person whom I asked, whom I spoke, whom I voted, whom I went. And it's not always I. You can be you. The person whom you voted for. The person whom they voted for. Actually, the candidates who they actually voted for, or the candidate whom they voted for. Anything, even names. The teacher whom David asked for help. You're talking about David and the teacher. The teacher whom David spoke to. David asked many things. But the point is, that's a subject. The subject of your sentence. That could be a good tip for exams. Note 2. Even though it is allowed to use who instead of whom as objective relative pronouns in informal speech, in grammatical terms as well as in formal speech, whom is correct and is better. You can say, of course, you had this in mind while I was explaining. Okay, why can't we say the person who I spoke to? Actually, I saw this on many movies. Yes, that's right. That's informal English. Of course, you can say the teacher who I asked, the candidate who I voted, and many things. But grammatically, we use whom when we're talking about the objects. Can it be is? What do you mean? What do you mean is? Which one? For which one is? Can it be he or she? Of course. The verb, then actually subject. Of course, yes. The person whom she voted for, the person whom he asked, whatever. After whom we use is. No. I said subject. ID. Subject. The person whom we talk to is blah blah blah. Because if you use is, that means the word is your subject. It's not your subject, it's your object. So we cannot say is. But we can say it. And it, actually, no, we cannot say it too, because it refers to animal things. So we cannot even use it or is. We use subjects, human subjects. Anyway, now, before we move to the next step, could you please make some sentences with whom? Some sentences, some examples with whom. Doesn't matter if it's wrong, if it's incorrect. The point matter is that you try your best. After whom, I said, the man whom I met at the mall is my former teacher from high school. Okay, that's nice. The dog whom I pet. Can we say the dog? Guys, please look at 80's sentence. The dog whom I pet is a bulldog. Can we say this sentence is grammatically correct? The police whom he talked with last night is my uncle. Oh, the police officer, because the police means the whole organization, the whole actually office of police. My brother, whom I taught some stuff, gets good grades. Okay, that's nice. We use which. The teacher whom I asked for help has read what, Pika. You should continue it. The dog which. The dog which I pet is a bulldog. Because dog is not a person, it's not human, it's an animal. We cannot use whom for animals, just for humans. My friend whom I spoke yesterday, whom I spoke to, I speak to someone, I speak to you, or talked to yesterday, is a colleague from work. Okay? The girl whom I talked to in the class is gentle. Okay? What I should continue. You cannot just leave it here. The teacher whom I asked for help, what? The teacher, what? The teacher whom I asked for help gave me some great advice. I don't know, failed me, insulted me, helped me, did something. You cannot just leave it here. The person whom I spoke to on Discord yesterday is my close friend. And I have a question. How do you pronounce it? Is the person whom I spoke on Discord yesterday is my close friend or my close friend? Se or ze? Which one? In this sentence. Is my close friend or close friend? Which one is correct? Okay, I understand. Thank you. You're welcome. The second, you mean close? So S or Z? Which one? Write it. S or Z? Close, close. Which one? Is that true? Which one? Let me find it. The Indonesian whom I met online taught me how to say pagi. I don't know what is pagi, but grammatically your sentence is correct. Yes. Yes. So someone says S, someone said Z. Now is better. And now is better. The teacher whom I asked for help gave me some advice. Said, no. Again, no. Advice is uncountable, like water. You cannot say advices. Gave me some advice. You should delete that S. The police whom I asked is very helpful. The police officer or the police. This is the person whom I lent some money. Lent, we can say it. Past of lent. Yes, Pagi saying so. I don't know what you say. Okay, thank you. Your voice is lagging a little. Are you sure? In my camera, is it just me? I don't know. If a voice is lagging, please let me know. So, for the thing I asked you, close is the correct one. Okay, maybe now is better. So close is the correct one. But it's clear. Thank you. We say close. No. Flo. Close friend. He's my close friend. Close, as a noun, we say close, like close friend. But close, I say close the door. That's a verb. Please close the door. It is close. But close means like we have a good or friendly relationship. We say close. My close friends. For example, I think on Instagram we have some kind of feature you can just story something to your close friends. So be careful with the pronunciation. Close as a noun, close as a verb. Let's continue, shall we? Whose? It's a relative pronoun used to show ownership or possession. My car, your car, his car, Jack's car, David's car. We use whose to introduce a relative clause that modifies a noun or pronoun in the main clause of a sentence. The man whose dog barks all night is very inconsiderate. You're talking about the man. Okay, which man? Who are you talking about? I'm talking about the man whose dog barks all night. Oh, you mean, for example, Jimmy? Yes, he's very inconsiderate. Something like this. The company whose profits have been steadily increasing just announced a new product line. Lucky them. The book whose cover was torn was still worth reading. And the girl whose parents are both doctors is very intelligent. For example. So it doesn't matter. You can use for humans, for things, animals. That's okay. If it shows ownership, you have it. What's the difference of ownership? Ownership, for example, I have, for example, what does inconvenient? No, it means, for example, he's very inconsiderate. Something like, mm, for example, he watches TV with a very loud sound, loudly. I mean, at 2 a.m. He's very inconsiderate. Something like this. Doesn't respect some kind of policies. For example, you shouldn't watch TV, or you shouldn't, for example, playing drums at 2 a.m. Something like this. What's the definition of ownership? For example, price. I mean, here, price or money. For example, he has a BMW. You're welcome. He has a BMW. Okay, so who is the owner of this BMW? Price. Price is the owner. I have, for example, I don't know, I have a bicycle. I am the owner of the bicycle. If you ask, okay, whose bicycle is it? This is mine. This is for me. I have this house. I have this bicycle. Something like this. A seasoned electronician whom I met yesterday. So, okay, whom I met yesterday, what? Whom I met yesterday, what? Makes sense. I think it means his actions make you feel worse. Exactly, yes. Yeah, exactly. Like it's 2 a.m. and you're playing the piano. I don't know. Something like this. So, whose? The man whose dog barks. You can use this to talk about ownership. So, actually, you introduce the person or the thing based on his ownership. For example, he owns a dog. You're you're talking about the dog, you're actually promoting the dog to find the man. Something like this. So can you make some examples with whose? Let's see what you get. Whose? Thanks, you're welcome. Yes, it makes sense, Bryce. Several people, okay, that's cool. Can't we remove who or replace it with apostrophe s in first sentence? Let me see. The man's dog. The man's dog barks. The man's dog barks all night, but it won't have the meaning. The man's dog barks all night. This is a complete sentence. What does it mean? The man's dog barks all night is very inconsistent. I say, for example, my car is yellow, is fast. Can I say my car is yellow is fast? That's meaningless. But we can say the man's dog barks all night. This is okay, but not the rest of the sentence. Got you. The boy whose father is a policeman helped me with my English homework. Okay, that's not actually. I thought you want to say help me find my bag, or but okay, English homework. Whose balloon is it? Whose balloon is it which is flying into our house? No, you can't say like that. Whose balloon is it which is flying? Okay, it's a kind of question. We're talking about sentences, but okay. Thank you, you're welcome. The computer whose is no. The computer whose what? You should use a noun here. The owner of the computer. Or something that the computer owns. The computer whose keyboard is broken down, is making a lot of noise. And the rest of the sentence is not correct. The food whose delicious was cooking. No. The food, you cannot say. The chef whose food was delicious was fired, for example. The users whose comments are unclear, the users are making the teacher confused. Okay, that was some sarcasm. The house whose owner is dead is haunted. Okay. The boy whose friends are nice is kind. Thank you, that's great. The cup whose handle is broken is useless. Yes, actually, in reality, this is really useless. Thank you. Thank you for your sentences. That was nice. There, after where we will make it even more advanced. So there is pretty easy. You talk about places. I stayed at a hotel where the staff were very friendly. The hotel, we're talking about the physical place. So I stayed at a hotel where the staff were very friendly. The park where we had a picnic was beautiful. Which park? The park there we had a picnic. The museum where we saw an exhibit on dinosaurs was really interesting. The city where I grew up has changed a lot since I left, for example. So we use where to talk about places. For example, I graduated from the school where Elon Musk, for example, studied. Something like this. So you talk about the place. I have to go to lunch. Okay, goodbye, Moni. Don't worry. I will probably upload the video on YouTube, so don't worry. Have a good day. Does ownership mean something having something which government allows them with a contract? Uh Not necessarily. I mean, you can own many things without even contracts. Like a car. You have a car. This is your car. If you cross a red light, for example, the police officers will give you a ticket because you are responsible for that. Goodbye. The man whose cat is female takes care of her every day. Okay. Hi. Hello, Valve. It, we refer to animals by it. Mm, the woman whose cat is female? Yeah, that's correct. No, 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 Lord, no, the sentence is correct. For whom I said we cannot use it. This is whose. We can use whose for human, things, animals, everything. This sentence is grammatically correct. I mean, Mana-chan's sentence. The woman whose cat is female. He or she, yes, exactly. It's not just it. And actually, about cats and dogs, let me tell you something interesting. Technically, we should call them it, but nowadays, because people name their dogs and cats, you know, for example, they call their dog David, so you can say he. It's midnight here. Okay. Where are you going? I don't know. But a place can be expanded anywhere, right? Like the place where Elon Musk graduated can be a university or the Earth or the universe, all of which I think are technically correct. Technically, we talk about some places. I mean, universe. So we don't need to say universe for there, actually, because there's only one, and we all know that. For example, the Earth. Technically, we use for some places. My dog's name is David. Oh, really? A person whose property is put into gambling. So what? What? Next, you should complete your sentence. So, okay, now forget whose and please make some sentences, some examples with where. Make your own examples with where. I think we can use terms like meters. Within 50 meters of where, that was. We can, yes. For example, where, I don't know. For example, the area within 50 meters of where, of which, we use of which, not of where. You can say of which that was situated, for example, something happened. In different contexts, we can say it, but generally, we use where for places. I miss the town where I grew up. Grew. E. Yes, because that's past. Past simple, grew up. Yes, I missed the town where I grew up. I missed ed the town where I grew up. The school where I studied for 3 years has been closed this year. Oh, that's sad. The village where I grew up is empty. Or you can say depopulated. For this case, it means no one lives there. So you can say, if you want to make it better, the village where I grew up is now depopulated. The park near my house where I grew up has changed into a parking lot. Well, you can say the park near my house where I grew up. We don't grow up in parks, technically, but grammatically that's correct. The house where I lived in is far from the town. The town articles. Nice sentences. Okay, others are typing. Let's wait for them too. What is it? I'm new to Discord. And George, you grew in a park. Yes, I mean it doesn't make sense actually, but we can say. Oh, all right. So we are assuming the other person knows how much of area. Yes, mostly. At least he knows how how big actually a school is. Like saying I grew up in a place where there were dogs. Here you are actually implying the neighborhood. We can say you are implying the neighborhood. We are assuming other person thinks where means within the neighborhood. Yes, yes, I can tell you that. Thanks, dear. You're welcome. The school where I used to go was demolished. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Let's move on. We have some alternatives. This can be actually this can be good for higher levels, but we can use prepositions with which instead of other things, other relative pronouns. For example, instead of saying where, you can say in which. In where, no, in which. Instead of saying whose, you can say of which. And actually, we don't pronounce it of which, of, like we, of which. Also, we can bring a preposition of the verb to the beginning of which. So as to means in order to avoid a sentence ending with a preposition. This is actually a good point here. For example, here we had, let me show you some examples with whom I think we had. Yes. The person whom I spoke to. For example, look at this one. You can make it better. Actually, your clause, we can say you can make it better. For example, the person to whom I spoke on the phone was very helpful. Let me try to make it better. Let me change the color to, I don't know, this one. So we bring it here. So that would be to whom I spoke on the phone. For example, the teacher whom I asked for help. We can say, for example, for whom I ask help. Or, for example, when someone calls you, you say, who am I talking to? This is who am I talking to? Firstly, whom am I talking to? You're ending your sentence with to. Whom am I talking to? In English, it's better not to end your sentences with preposition like to. So you can say, to whom am I talking? In some letter, it says, to whom it may concern. You can see in the title, to whom it may concern. For example, we avoid ending a sentence with prepositions. For here, for example, the book on which he based his research was very informative. He researched on. So the book which he based his research on was very informative. On which the house in which we are staying has a beautiful garden. So it's actually a stay in. The house which we are staying in. You can say in which, or you can just say where. The house where we are staying has a beautiful garden. It depends on you. The car with which he won the race is in the museum now. So technically it was here. He won the race with, here, is in the museum. The movie for which he won an Oscar was very emotionally moving. So the movie which he won an Oscar for. We can use this to make it better. Let me see. Oh, so many questions. Oh, alright. Where and where. Those have this. No, actually, let me tell you this. They actually don't have exactly the same sound. We say there for the first one, WH. There. But for second one, it's like ver. It comes from the bottom of your mouth. Ver. For example, where were you? Say, where were you? It has a slight difference. Please remember me where I grew up. Okay. The city, the sentence, okay. The city where I used to visit is closed. The city where I used to visit. I think me will not come in that sentence. Please remember me. Yeah, I can say I'll remember you, remember me, remember him. Whom did you call? Yes. Whom did you call? We say who did you call in our everyday English, but grammatically again. And actually, I think I was watching. It was on YouTube, I think. I of course you have watched Breaking Bad. The old man Mike, I think. They said that they had some kind of problem with sentences, with the dialogue. It was like who killed who. He says no. We should say who killed whom, and he's right. Take grammatically, that's correct. Who killed whom? Who is the subject, kill is the verb, whom is the object. But again, because that's informal or spoken English, you can say who killed who. To visit, yes, it was my mistake. No, you can say, please remember me. The place in which I live is convenient for, yeah, very good. Alright, no worries, okay? Of which and of whom. Pay attention to the examples below. So pay attention. The woman whose husband is a famous actor was interviewed on television. The house whose roof was damaged in the storm is in need of repairs. Let me put it there. Oh my god. The student whose grades have been steadily improving was awarded a scholarship. Lucky him or her. The restaurant whose chef is known for his delicious desserts is always crowded. Now we want to change it from whose to of which or of whom. We use of which for things, we use of whom for humans. Okay? And of whom for animals too. So the woman, look at this, whose husband, you can say of whom, her husband. That's a bit advanced. It's okay if you don't get it. Some students who has higher level, it's for them. So up to right now, that was for B1 students, B2 students. I think B2 can learn this. So the woman of whom her husband is a famous actor was interviewed. Instead of saying whose husband, you say of whom. Here, and you can change the play. For example, look at this one. The restaurant whose chef. You can say the chef of which. The grades of whom. You can even change. Her husband, the husband of whom. The roof of which. Actually, I think it's a bit hard, so difficult. I will make a YouTube video talking about this. Just know that we can change whose with of whom and of which. The roof of which means whose roof. Let's have some advanced tips and then we can go home. A restrictive clause, we talked, provides essential information about the noun or pronoun that is modifies and is not separated by commas. We don't use commas for this. On the other hand, a non-restrictive, as we talked, or we call it extra information, or about that, his father, comma, who is tall, comma, is a manager. It gives us extra information and one out of many. Like the guy has, at least two fathers. I'm talking about the tall one or the tallest one. It provides non-essential information and is separated by commas. Because of that, we can only omit the non-restrictive clauses. The restrictive clause cannot be omitted. For example, the man who's wearing the red shirt. Or here, actually I had a good example in the first one. Here you can say the city. The city attracts millions of tourists. This one, number 3. The city attracts millions of tourists every year. You can say that, that's okay. You want to give extra information or talk about a city out of many. The city, which is famous for its architecture, attracts millions of tourists every year. So it depends on either you want to delete or omit that extra information or you want to keep it. Sometimes it's good. Like you don't know, for example, where Beijing is. Say Beijing, comma, which is the capital of China, comma, blah, 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 is a modern city. And there is one good tip for that. You can remove which and something else. I will explain and talk about it in one of my YouTube videos. For example, Beijing, the capital of China. We don't say which is the capital of China. We just say the capital of China. I will explain it on my YouTube channel. So, oh, many things here. So let me read the chat. It's whom when it's the object of the sentence and who. Yes, exactly. I think it's office. Okay. Nima reading every messages. Yes, yes. Now I'm reading. Do you have? Yes, I have. I have a YouTube channel. Is this grammar different for American and British? No, not exactly. Actually, I can say 99 there are per percent they are the same. English with Nimafar. Yes, yes. I will send you the link. Get it? Oh, you found it? Great. But the city isn't explained if that's omitted, I think. Yes, yes, that's the point. You want to explain or you want to add more information. Therefore, you use the non-restrictive clause. If in your previous sentences you talked about the city, for example, say, I grew up in this city. Oh, I say that's very good. Say, yeah, the city attracts billions of tourists every year. Now I have a proper background knowledge about the city, so you don't need to explain. But imagine it's the first time you're telling me, then you need to use it because I have no idea which city you're talking about. It depends on your context and situation. Both are correct. Which one? Get it? Got it. The past of that. Like, there are thousands of cities, we cannot know which city exactly if you don't know. But if I told you in previous sentences, then you know. I says, this city grew up. I grew up in this city. I said, oh, that's nice, really cool. Yeah, the city attracts millions of tourists every year. Now I have a good background knowledge about your or the city. And if you want this PDF, you can go to my website and you can download the PDF for free. Why? Because I wrote around 20 or 30 sentences here. Let me just show you examples. So I actually wrote many sentences, like 30. Yeah, so you can go to my website and get the PDF. Also, the one I forgot to tell you. This one, use commas correctly. So when a relative clause is non-restrictive, separated and we cannot use that after commas. This is a good point. Whenever you use that, whenever you use commas, you cannot use that. You cannot say the city, comma, that. No, you cannot say which, just which. If you have a comma. Let me tell you something. My website is made by WordPress, and WordPress banned some IPs. So maybe because of that, you need to use a VPN proxy. WordPress did. I didn't do it. Thank you, Nima, whom is a teacher. Who is? Thank you, Nima. Okay, say we thanked Nima. Who is? I can't either. Yeah, use VPNs. For me, it's working. Okay, for other people. Some locations, some countries are banned by WordPress. Anyway. Okay, thank you everybody. Our class is over. I hope you have a wonderful day. And actually, next class is next year. So see you next year, 2024. And for example, this is for the person who said, what is your YouTube channel? This is my YouTube channel. I will upload the video of today's class on my YouTube channel probably tomorrow or maybe Monday. No, I'll try to do it tomorrow. So thank you everybody. Have a lovely day and take care of yourself. See you 2024. See you in 2024. Nice. Happy New Year. Thank you. Happy New Year, everybody. Thank for the class. Thank you, EU humans. Thank you, Price. Thanks, Nemo, for this interesting and interactive class. Thank you, AD. Thank you so much. Lordna. So Lordna randomly joined, but I think she liked it. Great. So take care of yourself, everybody. If you have any questions, please type it down. Otherwise, I will end this event in like 2 minutes. I hope all of you have a wonderful new year. Thank you. Sorry, my bad. I'm so sorry. So he. Yes. Lordna. Thank you. You're welcome. Why do you laugh, AD? It's okay. I think subjective words are mainly only used within, what do you mean, in conversations and not in research. Exactly. It's about, again, it's about formal English, informal English, written English, spoken English. Okay, as I said, for example, in Breaking Bad, I say who killed who. Actually, if you say who killed whom, but we don't use it because it's spoken English. But in your article, your essays, you should definitely say whom. Did you just assume their gender? No. Like delicious will not be used in your school. It would be precise, like salt is too much. Okay, if you say so. Thank you, everybody. Have a lovely day, and goodbye. If you have any questions, come to my DMs. Happy New Year from Panama. Okay, goodbye.